Ian Garry versus Colby Covington has been on the tip of everyone's tongue over the past few days, as the two have been going back and forth in a very unique way that we don't really see in the UFC too often, but it feels like the fucking WWE at this stage, and with what some of the stuff are saying. But Colby Covington, listen, you already know who he is. Ian Garry, you know who he is. I feel like this was very good for both of their careers. Like, this is kind of a fight I think both of them need at this moment. Ian is like in a weird state of like, he kind of lost a lot of hype after he pulled out at 296, and Colby's lost pretty much all of his stock after the performance in 296. 296 just flunked everyone's stock, but I feel like Ian Garry was doing well. Like, we'll start with Colby actually. So Colby made a video about like stipulations to fight him. One was he has to use his wife in like a MyBookie video. I can't remember the other ones, to be honest with you. They're fucking stupid, but yeah, like kind of stuff like that. And Ian Garry did make a very good point. Like, Colby never once actually talked about fighting. He talked about his wife, and I'm just like, kind of like, you know, I get he's trying to promote the fight, but it's a fight, you know what you mean? You gotta be like, you gotta have stipulations in the fight as well, or you know what I mean? But then Ian Garry was actually doing so well in his reply. He was like, you're literally known for failure, which is facts. Colby Covington literally has not won anything apart from the interim belt, and is not got a ranked win. So he was like, you're just gonna go known as a failure, which is a fact. You haven't got a rank in the top 15, which is a fact. Most title losses in UFC history. I think, is Yoel Romero not up there as well? I don't know. Maybe he's tied. I don't know. But Colby's definitely up there with losses, because he just is always he's never good enough. But then he had to fucking say, I challenge you to an I Quit match. And for those of you that don't know what an I Quit match, it's a real old school WWE thing. It's like when Orton and Cena did it back in the day. That's what that kind of was. But I don't think this fight is going to happen. I don't think this fight is going to happen. I would fucking love this fight to happen. And it makes the most sense to me. And it's such a fan favorite fight. And it's going to do so well. But I don't think Colby Covington's going to take that fight. I don't, bro. I don't. That dude just doesn't fight anyone apart from someone who's going to get into the belt. And if he beats Ian Garry, I feel like Ian Garry's the best fight he could take at the moment. Because it's going to be the biggest fight he can make and take. And he's got a good chance against Ian. Now, after his last performance, I don't think he'll win. The thing about the Ian versus Colby fight is that's going to be a really shit fight to watch. Because Ian hasn't really been finishing as many fights as when he first came into the UFC. I still think he has finish ability, but I don't know if he has it against these real top level guys. Like, he couldn't finish Neil Magny with one leg, and he couldn't finish Jeff Neal. A lot of people actually thought Jeff Neal won that fight. I don't think Jeff Neal won that fight. It was probably 2-1 Ian, but very lackluster performance, and he didn't look good. But Colby looked even worse in his last fight. Colby looked even worse. Like, he looked flat, he looked slow, he looked just shit. His striking was pathetic. His takedowns, they were non-existent. Leon was reversing everything, submission threats. Like, he just looked terrible. And really see him getting better, because time really isn't on his side. Like, Colby's what? 36 now, maybe? 35? And he needs to keep active. The thing is with Colby, bro, he never's fucking active. That's what I'm saying. I don't back him in this fight as regards taking it. He needs to take this fucking fight. This is the biggest fight Colby can take by far. Like, it's bigger than JDM, it's bigger than Shavkat, it's bigger than Gilbert Burns. But I just don't think he's gonna take it, bro. Like, it's not much reward, but a very high risk if you lose to Ian Garry, because he didn't look great in his last fight, Ian Garry. And I feel like if he loses to Ian Garry, then I think his stock is completely dead then. But there are some other options I feel like could happen for Colby. I think Gilbert Burns makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Because that's a big name, and that will get him right back in the picture. Bilal Muhammad, I don't really see Bilal fighting anyone other than Leon for the belt, which, you know, I mean, makes sense, unfortunately. But, like, I don't think he's taking Shavkat. I sure as fuck don't think he's taking Shavkat, and I sure as fuck don't think he's taking JDM, because he'd lose both of those fights. So Colby can win this fight. Colby could win this fight. I feel like this could be if this fight happens, this could be an Ireland main event, which would be fucking insane. Literally insane. That would be it. Like, we haven't had an Ireland main event since Conor McGregor, I don't think. You know, and Ian Garry's a star. As much as people want to hate on him and say he's fucking trash, whatever, like, Ian Garry's a name. Ian Garry's a name. He's undefeated. People want to watch Ian Garry fight. I think 90% of people want to see Ian Garry get fucking chinned. But you're still going to watch. You're still going to watch. And, you know, same thing with Colby. Same thing with Colby. Not most people, but a lot of people want to see Colby get knocked out. And especially after what he said about Leon's dad. Because, you know, I felt, like a lot of people, that I was starting to come around to Colby. I saw through the character. And I looked at who he was. But then he said some shit like that. And it doesn't do him any favours. I think Colby Covington, stylistically for Ian Garry, could be a good matchup. But it depends what Colby shows up. I think with the Colby that's relentless with the takedowns, not going to give him a second to breathe, sets up his takedowns with his striking, I think he can beat Ian Garry. And I don't see, because I don't know how good Ian Garry's wrestling is. That's the thing. He has not been wrestled with. He's been held up against the cage for Darian Weeks, but that's not been wrestled with. No, he's not fought a wrestler yet. And let's say Colby was injured, like he says, and if he's back to 100% and he's going to press forward and non-stop with Ian Garry, he can beat Ian Garry. But, you know, Ian Garry, let's say his wrestling defense holds up, he can easily pick Colby apart from the outside. His striking's very good, even if he's teeping to the body, stuff like that, because he's got decent boxing as well. He could catch Colby coming in. I've no doubt about that. I don't think he'd knock Colby out, but he can catch Colby coming in, maybe even drop him, get him hurt, and he win rounds like that. But I just don't see this being a fucking massive scrap. I think it's a very technical fight, and I don't think this is going to be this will be one that fans enjoy outside the fighting. Like, the actual fight itself isn't going to be good. Ian Garry's still young and he hasn't fought someone like Colby, so he could get emotionally invested in this fight, which is a big concern, because if you fight emotionally invested in any fight, especially Colby, it just depends what Colby shows up, because he looked so bad in that last fight, but he was still getting Leon down. I do think he can take Ian Garry down, and I think he could beat Ian Garry. I think he actually might beat Ian Garry the more I think about it, but this is kind of just an early thought of this whole fight, because it seems like a bit of a fucking carnival at this rate, because neither of them, I feel like Ian Garry would definitely take that fight. Will Colby Covington take that fight? I don't think so. Will this fight happen? I don't think so. There's just something about it that's too good to be true. Ian Garry versus Colby Covington, like, that's a great fight, and that's a great sellable fight. But I don't know. Maybe the UFC have different plans, but that's the fight I want to see next. Will they do it? I don't think so, guys. Unfortunately. If I had to give a prediction right now, just after saying everything on top of my head, I'm going with Colby decision. But, you know, if I was a betting man, a little bit on an Ian KO. Just a small bit. But that's what I think for now. Thank you for watching.